Alright guys, today we are going to go to China from Kazakhstan. I am in Almaty. I'm at Sayran bus station. I'm going to be taking the international bus to Horgos, Kazakhstan to Xinjiang. From Xinjiang in Horgos, I'm going to go to Urumqi. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, it's about 6 in the morning. It's quite sunny for 6 in the morning, actually. I've heard stories that the border might not be open on Sundays, but I have the bus ticket. Also, this station looks kind of dead, but we'll see how this goes. Just around the corner, it looks like we have some semblance of action. So yeah, this is leaving at 7. At 6, they said to arrive 1 hour before the departure. One thing I want to say is I have a 10-year Chinese visa. It expires in 2028, so I'm good on that. I have my passport. I also have a Chinese arrival form that I've filled out with the QR code. So that's where we're at right now. I'm just gonna see if they got something to drink here. Maybe a Gatorade or something with electrolytes for hydration. But these are all the buses. Wow. Yeah, I spent about three or 4 days here in Kazakhstan. It's a nice country, beautiful city actually. All right, well, here's a look at my breakfast. It's dumpling. I don't know what's in it. All right, well, I'm in the station here, trying to see if I can figure out how to find my bus. Just had a little breakfast. It's like you can also buy tickets here, but I booked mine on 12Go website. So this was my first time using 12Go. They said it works best in Central Asia. That's why I used it. I'll put an affiliate link in the description. And just so you guys know, this border that I'm crossing, it's actually considered a very high security surveillance area. Some of you probably knew that. I won't be able to film once we get close to the border, but I'll try to give you guys the information about how it goes once we've crossed. It's a bit dangerous driving that fast like that through here, but anyway, I'm just looking for the bus here. They say it's going to take like 6 hours. I might take a train from Horgos to Urumqi. I'm really not sure. I just want to get across the border first. All right, well, I don't know which bus is ours. I see Chinese writing. Oh, that one says China. I'm assuming a lot of these go to China. Could this be it? It could be it. And one of the drivers actually guided me over here. I was over on the wrong side. So I think this might be it. This could be it. One of these buses. Alright, well, we're on the bus. I guess there's 2 buses going. I don't even know if I'm on the right one, but they let me put my bag on it. We're still at the station. Alright, well, he fired up the engine. No one's checked my ticket or anything. I just know we're going to Horgos with this. Okay, so we're a little bit delayed. It's about 7:15. We were supposed to leave at 7. She just came through and checked everyone's tickets, so we're just about to leave. Aircon's on. And we made a stop here to get some gas. We're getting some diesel. Alright guys, well, we've made a pit stop here. We're only about 2 hours into it. We spent an hour just to leave Almaty because we had to refuel and stuff. But yeah, it's a pit stop. I guess we're gonna get some drinks, food, snacks. We still got another 2.5 hours to get there. They say it takes a total of 3.5 hours. But with all the delays, I don't know if that's true. Might as well show you guys around what the convenience store has here. Pretty much the same as everywhere. Water, soda. So I originally said it was going to take 6 hours, but that's because we actually lose 3 hours because China only has one time zone. So we jump ahead 3 hours The ride itself actually only took about 3.5 hours. I stopped filming about an hour before we got to the border. At this point, we did the whole border crossing. Now we're in Horgos in China. It was bigger than I expected. All the infrastructure is on the China side. All right, well, I'm here at the Holiday Inn. There's one problem though. If I don't leave this city today to get to Yining tomorrow, then I have to wait until 8 o'clock the next day. So I still haven't told you about the border process. I'll do that in a moment, but yeah, I've already been laying on this bed. I've been tired, but I might have to just leave on this train that's leaving at 8 o'clock. All right, guys, so I am here in Horgos. This is a border town with Kazakhstan. So this hotel that I'm at here, it's a nice hotel. It's new. And you can see they've got high rises around here, typically of China's, you know, massive economic power that they have these days. They can pretty much just build whatever they want, wherever they want. Yeah, so the thing is, even though it's a nice hotel, the truth is I didn't ever plan to come to Horgos to stay. It was just really a border stop. So I paid about 350 yuan for that room. I'll probably just take the train at 8:40 tonight. Now remember, when you cross the border from Kazakhstan, you actually lose 3 hours. So it went from 2 to 5. It was 2 p.m. in Kazakhstan, now it's 5 p.m. But it's actually like 6 o'clock now. But yeah, I'm checked in just to tell you about the border crossing, because that's something that's interesting. I'm still not done with this video, but I wanted to touch on the border crossing. So what ended up happening, you get off the bus in Kazakhstan and you stand in line. They don't really have aircon in there. It's an older facility. Process took about a half hour for that. I don't know why they need to make it such a big deal to exit, but it is what it is. Then you get on the bus again. You go about half a kilometer, maybe 600 meters, and you arrive at the China checkpoint. Now that's the big one that you guys are probably curious about, because at that checkpoint is where basically they want to know what you're doing. So at first they were all cool with me. They were like, "Oh, where are you from?" You know, Germany. They thought I was from Almaty. And I said, no, America. And their eyes light up. Literally, I'm not kidding. Once I said, they must not get a lot of American tourists through that port of entry there. And literally, he went from not searching me to all of a sudden searching me. So yeah, that ended up happening. And then when I got to the immigration office, so they ended up going through all my suitcase and my backpacks looking for wires. When they got to the immigration officer, they asked me a bunch of questions. I guess they ask everybody questions. I'm not sure if it was because I'm from the US that they asked me so many questions, but it took about 10 minutes of questioning, asking me what I'm doing in China, where I'm going to go, how long I'll be here, and yeah. And then they had a supervisor come over and like look at my passport, ask me why I've been to so many countries, and then let me in. And then I couldn't film any of that, or I was told not to film any of it before I even got here, because yeah. Anyway, I'm looking for some food, so let's see what I'm looking for. Some Chinese food. I love Chinese food. Let's see what I can get. All right, I got some beef with onion. That smells delicious, my goodness. All right, I just had some beef and onion. That is just such a good food. I could eat that every day. So yeah, I've just decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the train to Yining tonight, which leaves in about 2 hours. So I'm going to have to eat the fee on the room, which was about $100. But I'm doing that because if I do this, Then tomorrow morning, I get the 9:18 high-speed train to Urumqi. Because if I didn't do that and I decided to stay here, I would end up having to stay until 2000 tomorrow to take the train. Because there's no trains going to Urumqi from here tomorrow until 2040, which is 8:40. So this plan right here, eating 100, I was gonna probably end up having to eat the 100 either way, just because if I stayed till 2040 tomorrow in this place, I mean, it's cool, I guess. It's hot as heck. Not much really going on here though. Then I'd have to pay for a room again, you know, because what am I going to do? Stand outside? No. So I'd probably be sitting in a room. So this gives me forward progress. You can see they have a lot of these high-rise apartment buildings here in Horgos. All right, we're going to the train station here in Horgos. They just have these parking lots filled with cars. All those cars. There's like so many lots of just brand new cars like that. All right, well, it's 8:40 p.m. and the sun is way up there. Technically, it should be probably same as Kazakhstan, which is 5:40 p.m. But nonetheless, it's 8:40. This is a 3-hour difference. I was here in Horgos for about 4 or 5 hours. I don't know exactly. Felt like 3 or 4 hours, something like that. But let's see how this goes. This is going to be an hour and 15-minute train ride to Yining. I have a 9:40 train in the morning. Should be like 6:40 my time, based on circadian rhythms or whatever. Looks like a new station. It's not even on Google Maps. Couldn't even find it on Google. Well, here we are. Getting on the train. I couldn't film any of that going in there. Alright, so she said upper berth. I don't know. I'm only going one city over. Yeah, so the reason I didn't film that is because I'm still right there on the border. I don't want like someone to say, hey, why are you filming? You know, I'm still too close to the border here in Horgos. Maybe once I go further into Xinjiang, I'll be able to film. All right, we're off. They've asked me if I wanted to lay down. I said I'm only going one town over. It's actually kind of beautiful out here. We got lots of greenery and farms. Is that corn? Look at all those cars. Like, we've just driven by so many lots. Here's some more. These are just like brand new cars just sitting in lots. Did you know that Xinjiang literally translates to new territory or new frontier in Chinese? So China has had Xinjiang under its domain since about the 1700s. That you can see here. This is a really interesting place. It's like kind of known as like the Kazakh prefecture. There's big mountains out here, but it's the same type of terrain that you see in Kazakhstan, in the sense that it's, you know, the same kind of part of the steep or the part of the steppe as they call it. But China has just developed farmland all across the steppe, all across this whole like old Silk Road area that used to just basically be desert. And they've just basically turned it into, you know, cities, structures, farms. You go right over into Kazakhstan and it's just empty. You know, depending on what you like, you could say that's good, bad, who knows. But China's definitely got it way more developed, that's for sure. Look at the huge power plant up there on the hill. Wow. And we're coming in to Yining station here. Looks like a new one, maybe. About to find out. Looks new. All right, and we're here at the station called Yining. It's very new. That's the train that we just rode. So I'm going to start using the camera a little bit more now that I'm away from the border. I think that's like the real tense area. Now I've got to figure out how to get to my hotel, which according to Google is in a whole nother town over. But I talked to the hotel and they said no, it's in Yining. So I think Google Maps has it wrong. As a matter of fact, Google cannot be relied upon over here in Xinjiang, which is understandable because not very many people come over here. Okay, well actually there is tight security here because they asked me what hotel I was staying at, how long I'm going to be here. Everything was in Chinese. I didn't understand anything he was asking me. He took a bunch of pictures. They took like 3 pictures of my passport. So yeah, make sure you have a plan when you get here. All right, well we got a taxi here. So let's see if we're on the right path. All right, I just checked in and this hotel's being weird again. They're asking me to take a police photo with a police officer. So it's just something that I got to do, I guess. It's about 11 p.m., which is essentially like 8 p.m., how it feels for me. But yeah, I got to wait for a police officer to come take a picture with me because I'm staying at this hotel. And it's another one of those situations where they're asking a lot of questions. All right, so I'm gonna get some food here. We got barbecue. I've already ordered some good old barbecue. All right, well, while I sit here and wait for the barbecue, I'm also waiting for the police officer to come to take pictures with me. I guess people from Malaysia, Japan, United States, and some other countries have to do this when they're in Xinjiang. I'm thinking it's only Xinjiang that I have to do this, but it could be a new policy, I don't know. Oh, here's some mushrooms. I'm waiting on the meat still. And here's the meat. It has so much flavor. Like after going through Central Asia where the food like has no flavor, it's great to have food with flavor again. All right guys, well, it's the morning time. I'm headed to the train station. It's a very green place here. A lot more green than I would have suspected. So, I'm just catching the taxi. All right, well, I'm down here. I'm just waiting on my Didi. Yes, they do have Didi here. It's 9:10. The train leaves at 9:50 or 9:40. Not exactly sure, but I left something in the room, so that gave me a little delay. But yeah, this is going to take 5 hours, they say. Oh wow, train leaves in 14 minutes. I hope I have enough time to get through. Well, as you know, going through those stands there takes time. It takes a lot of time, so that took up 5 minutes, down to 9 minutes. I'm not gonna wait on an elevator. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I'm in the right area. Jeez. What is going on here? Pretty sure this is a high-speed train. Alright, we're on the train here. It's a business class. It cost about 500 Chinese yuan. And we're off. We have a snack box. Let's see what's in it. So we got fish tofu. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Beans and dried fruit. What the heck is that? Looks like a worm. Is that a worm? Oreo. I haven't seen that in a while. Hot cake. It's some sort of like meat. right, we're at Urumqi, I should say. So this is actually where the high-speed network officially begins. This train reached a maximum speed of about 157 kilometers per hour, which is what I thought. That was about 105, 110 miles per hour. So we're going to do this arrival here, and then I'm going to stay at my hotel here in Urumqi. I'm going to be using my Hilton rewards to stay at the Conrad. I paid half points and half cash, so I'm really only paying like $86 to stay at the Conrad tonight. So it's a pretty good deal. Actually, it was 800 Chinese yuan, so I think it's more than 86. As per usual, foreigners have to go over here. I actually haven't seen a single foreigner here at this station that at least resembles something that looks like a foreigner from the US or something. I'm sure there's foreigners here, but you know, like US. Yeah, what I mean is no obvious Western tourists. Like you could tell a Western tourist whether they're from Asia or US or Italy. But visiting here, you know, you can tell an American. I don't see any. That's fine. It's great. I actually prefer that. As far as my experience here in Xinjiang, being that I've been here for now 24 hours, I would say that people are friendly. It's friendly people. Definitely a high security area. It's not like a super intense high security situation. It's just like they're always like, why are you here? At least in the hotels and at the train stations, they ask that. So even beyond the customs, you're still going to get stopped and asked why you're here. I don't know if that's going to happen in Urumqi, but it happened in Yining, happened in Horgos. They want to know why you're at the Xinjiang, but we'll see if Urumqi is a little bit more tourist friendly. Actually, the reason I came over here was because I made a bunch of China videos before. Everyone was like, you need to go to Xinjiang, you need to go to Xinjiang. So I came. Hello. Oh, thank you. Okay. Let's see if I get stopped here. In Yining, they stopped me. I think it's just when you're by the border. Seems like, oh wow, look at that big vehicle. Oh wow, okay. So Urumqi is big. I guess it's like 4 or 5 million people. That's a lot of people. I was supposed to get off at Urumqi South, which is the next station, but I decided to get off a little early because this seems to be like the city center. Plus, I think it's even closer to my hotel than the other station. But yeah, Urumqi is like 4 or 5 million people, which essentially is like the size of my hometown, Phoenix, Arizona, or Singapore. So it's a big city. I was looking at where to go next. I'm still quite far away from like central China. I'm still pretty far west. I was thinking about, you know, Xi'an, but I guess it's going to take, even on a high-speed train, it would take me like 11 to 12 hours to get to Xi'an, which I went to last time I was in China, and I thought that was pretty far away. I thought that was pretty far west. Little did I know. Well, I knew by looking at a map, but it doesn't fully like set in until you actually go to places, right? Like how big it is. China's huge. Oh wow. I am hungry. I could go for some wonton soup. I've been craving Chinese food for many months. Now I'm in China and I'm just gonna go crazy with the food. I hope I don't gain weight. Alright, so this is the food that I got. This is like a wonton noodle, I think. It smells like tomato. Alright, so I got some food. I could do a Didi or a taxi. Let's see if I can communicate with these guys here to get a taxi. If it works, I'll do the taxi. If not, I'll just go the Didi route. Let's see what they say here. All right. Got a taxi. Well, here's a look at my room view. Some interesting things that I noticed. Big city for sure, but if you look over here, you can see got a mountain with snow cap. All right, so I've come in and got some beer here. It's called a Tuborg. Yeah, it's some sort of soup here with beef. A little bit spicy. It's good. Now we're gonna check out the Urumqi Bazaar. Absolutely spectacular here. Oh my goodness, lamb wrapped in bread. Getting some beef jerky here. And now I want to give my final review of the trip. So as I walk towards the Uyghur Regional Museum here, this is where the Uyghurs come from. Learn about the history of this region. Yeah, so looking back on it, it was pretty smooth. I mean, it wasn't overly complicated. It is a high security region, so you should, take that into consideration. Yeah, so obviously the border situation is a bit tense. Just make sure you have a plan. Don't just come across the border like kind of winging it, like some backpackers might do. I know sometimes people can do that, but at that particular border, you need to have like an itinerary and a plan. And once you have that, you'll be able to probably ace the interview that they're going to give you, because it is an interview. They basically want to know why you're there, how long you're going to be there, where you're going next. I would say that in Yining and Horgos, both of those hotels do have heightened security. I didn't experience that here in Urumqi. So that was a relief, because I was like, is this just going to be like this all across Xinjiang or what? And once I got through to Urumqi, it definitely lightened up a bit. But you could tell they still have some, scrutiny here about, what you're doing here. I still haven't seen hardly any tourists. It's mostly locals, which is great. If you're someone who doesn't want to be around a bunch of tourists and be around locals, then that's great. That's me. That's what I prefer, is to be around locals. Anyway, oh wow. The umbrella thing is just so funny. How many umbrellas have poked you in the head? Yeah, pretty smooth process. I would say the Uzbekistan-Kazakhstan border took longer and was a bit more complicated, to be honest with you. So, but that's heightened security around the hotels is a bit intimidating. But even then, it's kind of still pretty chill, because people are friendly. They're not like trying to harass you too much. So anyway, here's the Uyghur Museum. We'll see you guys on the next one. I'm going to be trying to go to Inner Mongolia at some point, so we'll see you guys.